In this 55-gallon drum, we have 55 gallons of wheat bran, which has been sitting here for just a little over three weeks, it would be. Now that's about the ideal time for the fermentation of bokashi. We could leave it now here for, as far as I understand, indefinitely, a few years anyway, over a year. But after 3 weeks, we get a great fermentation. You can do this in a bag, you can do this in a bucket, as long as it's sealed airtight. You can ferment many things. You can ferment sawdust, you can ferment manure, you can ferment food scraps, you name it. If it was once alive, it's organic matter, you can ferment it. So today, I'm going to be just drying out some high-grade EM Bokashi in simple terms. Now there's many ways to do it. We'll be reviewing the basics. Sweet and sour, just like I like it. You want a sweet and sour smell. If you smell something putrid, rotting, you see green mold, gray mold, black mold, you want to discard of your bokashi because it's been contaminated. You've either had a hole in your bag, or you have had too much moisture, or maybe some detrimental microbes got into your batch of bokashi somehow. Highly unlikely, but it is possible. It does happen. So again, gray mold, black mold, green mold, discard of your bokashi. If you have a white mold on the top, that's just the yeast. That's the beneficial microbes that are present in the EM. That's good. White mold's good. Any other colors growing on your bokashi, no good. Throw it out. This bokashi, I made a large batch because I'm a really big fan of bokashi. You can make your own bokashi in a trash bag, in a 5-gallon bucket, any container that seals airtight. Today we're just going to be illustrating how to dry your bokashi effectively in your own backyard or driveway. Now, in the last episode, we dried it out in the rough terrain of my backyard. You might say a lot of ridges and valleys on the micro scale. In other words, we had depressions that the bokashi sat in, and ridges or wrinkles in the tarp that didn't allow bokashi to settle on it. Therefore, we had clumps of bokashi. It didn't dry out. So today, we're going to be sifting our bokashi to get fine particles. I'm going to be shoveling a bunch out right now. Now, when I made it, I stuffed it in. You really want to stomp it down, so you can see here it really clumps up. Oh, it's so good. And so what happens is we want a more surface area, basically. We want a more surface area, so we can get more effect of these little microorganisms living on these little flakes of grain, high nutrient value. For those of you out there who are into nutrition, you might like to know that, if you don't already know, that wheat bran is the outside of the wheat. So when they make white flour, they take away the outside of the wheat. And this little flake, or flakes I should say, has all of the minerals, most of the minerals and nutrients that you would want from the wheat. So this is actually the good stuff. We call it animal feed, or fiber. So I'm just going to get out enough to use. Don't want to do too much. The idea is that we want to use it all up at once to dry it up. We'll put it all out if it's wet. We want to use it all because it'll slowly start to get exposed to the elements, and if you don't leave it totally sealed, it'll start to get this darker coloration, which means the oxygen has started to affect it, the elements of oxygen and oxidization have affected it. Bokashi is most effective when covered with mulch. Now, you don't have to if you have grass areas or just at the base of your trees, or if you're using it for your food scraps, you already know that it really takes effect when you seal it and you're pickling your food. Without the seal, you don't get a pickle. Here's the difference between the top and a few inches down, the coloration. They both smell great. This is a bit more sour, this is a bit more sweet. The sour is more fresh. The sweet has started to move through some phases. It's wonderful stuff. Quick like lion. So what happened here is I had it in the bag, and then I opened it and put it in another bag. Simplify things after opening it. Yeah, so like a gallon of this for 40 gallons of soil.
Ooh, that smells
soil.
good.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's what you're feeling, is 1 gallon of this flux sifted material.
For about 40 gallons of potting soil, or a gallon of this for
Can I borrow you for a second?
1 to 200 square feet.
Top dressing.
Top dressing, yeah. Or an ounce a gallon for tea or watering. You might want to use gloves. I don't mind. No, don't lift too much. Here, if it's more than you can handle, don't lift it. I'm sure you all are smart enough to devise your own way from A to B. So I've weighed down all the corners. Got most of the wrinkles out. Sifted my bokashi. Now I spread my bokashi. First, like so. Okay, so I just got back from the store and I raked it again, and you can see there's a few spots that are still pretty dark colored because they were too thick. I put a little too much. So I raked it again, and I'm just going to leave it for another half an hour or so and come back and check on it and see how it is. Alright, our bokashi's been sitting out here for a few hours in the sun. Crispy dry at this time. I've raked it twice. It's ready to be pulled up and put into a plastic bag again and sealed up so we can store it now indefinitely.